Let me copy a couple people for you.
Sure. I just sent that from the Dolphins email, so that way
Yep.
it's internal. And yeah, I did CC it to myself so that if in case you responded, we
Oh, yeah,
can.
actually, let me. Okay, I
Yeah.
think I actually forward that one maybe. Try to find it. All right, additional access. Let's pop it open. I'll forward it to the IT guys,
Okay.
so they can make the update. Yep, there it is. All right. So who needs access?
I think I will need it. Kiran, will you need it as well?
Uh, yeah, sure. I mean, either of us is fine, sure. But
Okay.
we need to get it from our end.
Yeah, just one person or two persons, either or.
Hmm,
If it's just one, then it'll be me. If it's two, then me and Kiran.
okay. The access I need here. And
In the meanwhile, hey Jeremy, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks. Sorry for being a little late.
That's okay. No problem. We have been discussing about the permissions, the new app registration permission that we needed. So yeah, just bringing you.
Great.
all right, so I just forwarded that to Jordan and Jason.
Okay, perfect. And then the next question that we have is how do we fetch the role of either admin or evaluator? So, um,
Yeah, we have to give, I think we have to have our own admin kind of control. Um, because, like Jeremy's going to be an admin, maybe someone
correct.
else in HR. There's nothing in Active Directory that's going to set that.
Yeah.
Um, I guess there's two ways. We could either have a group set up
Mm-hmm.
in Active Directory that says, MD360 administrators, and then anybody that's in that group
Yeah.
would have the administrator role, or you would have your own kind of user mapping in the app. Um,
I think the group sounds good. That's
yeah,
what we were thinking at. That
yep,
if we can define a group and add, all the admins to there, that way
yep,
we can identify it. Correct, Kiran?
yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, we have followed the same way, right? Yeah.
Perfect.
I think
Yep.
that's the best way. Okay.
Uh,
Who do you want? You want me to add for development testing purposes right now?
you can add me as the admin, so that way I can test it as an admin. Me and Kiran probably, right, Kiran? Or do you want anybody else?
Yeah, sure. So either me or you, fine. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And then like
Sean and Kiran.
Rajesh and myself, we can be like
it would
evaluators.
be fine if
Correct.
you
Yep.
make me as admin now. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be great because you no need to
He
go to
can
Sean
test
for
it.
it. Yeah.
That's what I'm mentioning, Kiran. Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and Kiran, yeah, we'll be admins, and then Rajesh, yeah, and Ray. What I was going to mention is once we have it ready, what we'll ask you to do is to test it on your end as well,
Yeah.
because we don't have the exact user groups, right? So 40-40-20, we're going to change that logic to test it on our end, but
Sure.
then we also want to test it in a proper setting so that we have, three direct reportees, at least a couple of coworkers and a supervisor. So that way, that rule is calculated. We want to see the calculations happening properly.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll let you know once we are ready with that. I think that'll probably be end of next week. But yeah, we should be ready with that. I think those were the major questions, but there's one more update that we wanted to show. So we've started adding the logos within the application screens. Let me see if I can zoom in.
Yeah, I mean, did you give them the ones that have this just the white um outline rather than the
I
colored?
gave them everything we had. Let me see if one
Okay.
of those was what you're asking.
If there is a logo in there that's the logo type where it's basically all the logos are like in like a white outline.
What, like just
Rather
white,
than,
like monochrome white?
yeah,
Uh,
I think that might actually look better against that, against the aqua.
And also, I had a
Yeah,
question like,
that's one of the
uh,
ones I sent you guys. It should
Okay.
be.
okay, so we can add white outline to it. We can work with it, not a
Yeah,
problem.
I would just switch it out. There's a version of this logo where the logos are just a white outline
Yeah, I
rather
think
than
it says white
a
in the
full
file name
color.
too. Yep. Yep.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
And yep, we'll work on that. So we'll get it updated, and then I'll send you the updated screens shortly.
perfect.
Then the second question was on the application on the top, which logo do you want? Is it the Dolphins logo? Because what we have done is we've added all 4 logos in the footer, but it won't look good in the header if we add all 4. But again, it's based on the
I think
requirement.
I would think that just do no logo at the top then, because if
No
the
logo?
space is
Okay.
constrained,
Yeah.
yeah, we'd rather just have no logo, I
Yeah,
think.
I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
And then 4 logos in the footer. Yeah.
Yep. In the 4 logos in the footer should also be the white too. Yep.
Okay. And then quick question, do we want to create a logo for MD360 or just MD360 is fine?
Yeah, I think MD360 is fine.
Okay.
Can we call it LTV 360 just for living the
Sure.
value? That might be
Of
more
course.
of a generic kind of like relatable term because that's kind of, this measurement is on our values and we have referred to it as living the value. So LTV 360 might be a new kind of moniker that we can start using.
Sure.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, perfect. I think, yeah, those were the major questions. Now we have is probably a little logical question. So, I mean, assuming that, we have an organization chart like this, and then we are adding B as evaluator. So, I think in our first call, Jeremy, you mentioned that we want to bring in A, F, G, and H as well when we are adding B as the subject, sorry. Is that correct? Or do you want just to bring in B and then when we add A as supervisor, we bring in the role supervisor as default and then we can change it if needed?
Can you ask me that again? I kind of lost the question there.
So whenever we create a session, we add a subject, right? So assuming we are adding B as the subject.
Okay.
Do you want us to bring in like users A, F, and G, F, G,
Oh,
and H
yeah. So
by
AB, the
default?
supervisor. Yeah. Yes, please. That's what used to happen. Great question. That's what used to happen before. So if Ray was B, it would
Mhm.
automatically bring in Ray's boss, supervisor, and
Okay.
anyone that reported to him in the org chart automatically.
Okay.
But then I
And
have
that'll
the
be F.
ability to delete them if there was only
Mhm.
two, because I want
Sure.
there to be 3 or more. So I would then manually delete them, which is perfectly fine. I prefer to see them. And I want to get
Sure.
the picture of, okay, here's this boss. Yep, that's right. And then here's his direct reports. And then if there's less than 3, we delete them. If there's 3 or more, we keep them. Or even if we know one of his direct reports might be, resigning and leaving, we may want to just delete them. Things like that may come up. So yeah, but bringing them automatically would be great. It would save us a lot of time.
Okay, perfect. And then, so assuming F, G, and H, we bring it in, but do we also bring in N and P, or they are optional? Can be added later.
So that would be optional. Yeah, that would be like that would no, yeah, we wouldn't want to bring that in.
Sure.
Yep.
And what about C, D, and E?
Um, no, the optional also. They will likely be
Okay.
part of his assessment because they work with Ray, but yeah,
Yeah.
everything outside of the direct, like the lines touching Ray would be optional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And we'll consider C, D, and E as co-workers
Yeah.
and N and P as direct reportees if they are added. Does that look correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. I think, yeah, those were the questions that we
Hey,
had on
Ray,
the,
that
yeah.
hierarchy lives where? In Active Directory? Ray?
Um,
I'm not sure. I would hope so.
No, yeah, okay. Yeah, can we
Yeah.
find out? Not only because I can audit it and make sure, like, I want to make sure we HR and IT are in sync. I think we are for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the whole point of the integration with,
Mhm.
yeah, was to leverage that. So yeah, we
That's how
definitely,
we had it before. I just want to just verify and that nothing changed, and then we can maybe, I can have someone on my
I mean,
team
I've
just
definitely seen where if you search for somebody on Teams or whatever, you can see like who they
yeah.
report to and what team and all that. So I think that's mostly built out. But yeah, we definitely want to verify it.
And then Kiran, do you remember where we had the chart?
Yeah, sure. Click on the icon below your name.
At top right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you share? It's a little slow for me, as always.
Yeah. One moment. I'm sharing.
Yeah.
While he's bringing that up, I just want
Somehow,
to confirm we're changing MD 360 to LTV 360.
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, so let me see. I don't know if we can rename resource groups or not, but let me see if they could do that. Because I put MD 360 in the name of the resource group. So
That's okay.
What's the resource
I
group?
think we just need that change on the application side.
yeah.
So we can still call it MD360 on the development side. Is that
Yeah.
okay, Jeremy?
Yeah. Just user facing if it says LTV. And if it has to say MD, that's not the end of the world. Since you asked me, I would
No, I
refer
just want
to
to be consistent.
Yeah.
So if
Sure.
we're
Yeah.
going to refer to it as LTV,
I
eventually down the
like it that
line,
way.
we'll forget what MD 360 was, and it'll be like, oh, you mean LTV? So
True that. Kiran, do you want to share?
Yeah. One moment. I'm logging in now. Yes. One moment. Oh.
Mhm. Sorry about that. Yeah, we had back-to-back meetings this morning. So yeah, we're just coming out of another meeting. So yep.
yep, no worries.
Yep. So this is what we see right now. So based on the organizational chart is what we are planning to. So once we add a subject based on the organizational chart, we'll identify supervisor and direct reportees. And then if there are any coworkers usually won't be attached directly, correct? Jeremy, as what you're mentioning. So in our example, C, D, and E won't be directly added or won't be automatically added. They can be an optional add for the admin.
Yep. Sean, how easy, difficult will that be to change in the future? So along with any other kind of modifications, but once we have this handed over to us, if we decide, you know what, we do want coworkers to be automatically added, is that something we would easily,
That should be as straightforward. I don't think that should be a bigger change.
but like
Um,
Ray or someone on his team, or would we have the ability to do it on the back end?
Yeah, we can. I mean, backend would be easier. If you want, we can also, develop a feature where we can decide who do we want to bring in automatically. We can add it probably at the end of our project. Probably
Right.
like a nice to have functionality.
Yeah, maybe like a global setting or something that says, auto invite
Right.
coworker or something like that, or
Yeah, I
logo
Right.
direct
Ray,
reports.
Ray, because that would be cool. Like, I mean, like there may be certain sessions we launch where we do want that to be the case, and we know that, so it's just going to save us some time.
Mhm.
Because it's easier to delete them once they're in the list versus trying to find them and add them individually. So, having said that now and saying that out loud, maybe I'm backtracking and maybe we do include coworkers. So, if Ray reports to the head of IT,
Mhm.
and so then all of the others that report to the head of IT come in as coworkers. I'm going backwards now. Maybe we do that because it would be easier to delete.
Yeah, then I think even let's look at possibly an event setting where it's
Sure.
like defaulted to checked on that you would invite anybody reporting up through the chain, and then the admin has the ability to uncheck that when they're setting up the session, or to basically say a direct reports only. Maybe it's a radio button, I don't know.
Sure.
But if there's going to be a lot of development, I guess let's decide if let's focus on the main functionality first, and then let's get that in as a nice to have. Like,
Sure. Absolutely. Yep. So we'll not treat it as a must-have, but yeah, once we have completed the basic prototype, and then we'll add it as a nice to
yeah, I
have.
think Jeremy, if let's just say it can't happen, you want the default to be to pull everybody in, and then you'll just remove them.
Yeah, I think I think that it would be easier to just delete coworkers if we wanted to versus adding them in. It just, yeah.
Okay, so
I
yeah,
think more times than not, we're going to include all the coworkers anyway, or most of them, so might as well just bring them in.
yep.
Makes
So
sense.
yeah,
We
so we'll do
we
that.
were worried that there could be a lot of coworkers. That's why because if you go a little
Tom,
below,
It's
yeah.
not,
If you put Tom Garfinkel in there, the CEO, he's going to have 500 people
yeah.
attached to him immediately.
Correct. So if you go a little lower, like there could be like in our scenario, F, G, and H, they could have, a lot of coworkers on other teams as well. So, but then again, we can restrict that to, just the supervisor. So if it's only the supervisor that we are looking at, then anybody under that supervisor would be the coworker, not everybody else.
okay.
So, Kiran, do you have that organizational chart? If not, I can quickly share that.
I do want to
You
land
you can
on
choose.
a definite action on
Sure.
that one though, because of, this is an executive, typically targeted towards executives.
Sure.
Um, so Jeremy, yeah, like if you put Tom to be evaluated, he's going to get 500 people added to him if we
Wait,
go by
why wouldn't
that.
he just he wouldn't just get his direct reports and
That's what we're saying is we were originally going with just a direct report, but if you want everybody down the tree to also be
sorry, no, I missed that. No, just direct reports and colleagues, and in his case, he wouldn't have any, but yeah. So
So
in this grid, it would be obviously you're adding a session for B, it would be FGH as direct reports only, and it would be CDE.
and A.
Of
So,
course, yeah,
yeah.
yep, A.
okay,
And
but
then
not
what we're
in
gonna
this
do
case.
is Sorry, go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
was gonna
Dave.
say, but not in this case. You add A, and he
Mhm.
gets B through O added to him.
I see what you're saying, Ray. Really?
So the question would be like, assume that if you are adding G as
Yeah.
the subject, so then B, we treat B as the super, and then anybody reporting to B would be treated as
Yes.
coworker.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
don't bring in I, J, K, and all of them, right?
All right.
So yeah, they are optional. And then we bring in N as the direct reportee. And then if, do we want to keep that kind of a condition that if we have, just one direct reportee, do we bring in more people from below? Or is it still just the restricted to one level above and one level below?
I think it's just restricted, no?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
And when we test it, we can use we can cherry pick a few people that, have a lot of colleagues or direct reports to see what it looks like. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, great. I think we have
Uh,
resolved all the.
One more
Yeah,
question, Shivam. So
sure.
when we are evaluating B, so do we need to show all FGH, NNP as
No,
we need to
not
add them
NNP.
as
Not NNP. So yeah, A, F, G, and H, and then C, D, and E.
Because they're on the
okay. So
same
do we need
level.
to add them by default as evaluators? We just need to
Yeah, Kiran, I'll explain that to you. I got
okay,
that on. Yeah.
okay.
Yep. Okay. Any other points, Ray, Jeremy, for today?
No, I think that's good. Hopefully that's
Uh,
helpful for you guys. Yeah.
Yep, it does. It does resolve a lot of questions, and then once we get this permission, we'll be able to start fetching in users, being able to logging in with SSO, and then we can add users directly from the organization structure. So that way we can start testing it on our end.
Okay.
Right now, we are testing it with AHA App's organizational structure. But yeah, all apart from that, all good. So yep, we are good to go for today.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you next time. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Yep.
Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
You
You
too.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin, hold on.